overall EI, emotional intelligence, then you can talk about the overall EI literature. So every hypothesis, Simran, has to be justified. So if you're talking about optimism to performance, then you'll have to talk about the rationale or the logic for building or expecting the relationship between optimism and performance. Is that okay?
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah, so you'll have to talk about all the subconstructs and their relationships to performance. Okay?
Thank you, yes, sir. Okay.
So on the design part, we'll come to that also, which I just mentioned: measures not discussed, incomplete description of methods, how sample was collected, how it was, how the data was collected, and so on. Discussion and implication section. Remember, discussion sections of papers are not just a place where you repeat the results that you have found. Discussion section is where you actually talk about how the results that you have found extend what you have, what you already know in the literature, what are the contributions you are making to both theory and practice. So this is the section on which where we talk about these implications and.
So, Poonam here.
Yes.
Sir, can you just once explain this again? What we should give into discussion section?
So you see, in your research paper, you have an introduction section, a literature review, where you talk about the literature and the hypothesis or the research question. Then you have a method section, which talks about how you collected the data, right? Then you have the results and analysis section, where you actually present the results that you found during the analysis, correct? After this comes the discussion section. Now, discussion section is a place where you should not just repeat the result that you have found. That means you don't have to say in the discussion section that I found X is related to Y, Y is related to Z, this mediates, that moderates, and so on. That you have already written in the results section. What you have to do actually in the discussion section is talk about how the findings that you have obtained in this study add or contribute to the literature that we know. How does it contribute to the existing knowledge about these constructs, existing knowledge about these phenomena, and then how does it extend the body of knowledge in this, rather than just repeating what results you have got. Similarly,
Sir, but we have another section also where we talk about the contribution. So is it the same discussion?
Yeah, it is the discussion section where you talk about contributions to theory and contributions to practice.
Practices, okay.
Yeah, so practice is where you talk about these are subparts of the discussion section. Contribution to practice is where you talk about how the findings of this study help inform management or managerial practice. How does it contribute to the world of practice, to professionals? How can they use the knowledge obtained from this study in their organizations? Where can they apply the results and findings of this study in their whatever actions or whatever things that they are doing in the organization?
Sir,
both of them are part of the discussion section.
Sir, Devanshu calling question.
Yes, Devanshu.
Number one is what constitutes the introduction section. Number one. Number two is that for the statistical relations which we use, say correlation coefficient or regression, whatsoever with that, can we have to do the theoretical background of this, how the correlation is calculated, that is covariance xy by root over sigma?
No, absolutely no. You don't have to define what these are. Maybe in a line you can just say correlation is a way to identify associations between two variables. You don't have to define what is correlation, what is regression, what is ANOVA, and so on. You don't have to do that.
What constitutes the introduction section broadly?
I'm just coming in 5 minutes. So
Okay.
we'll talk about introduction in a while. Yeah, we'll come to it. Yeah. Okay, so this is these are some of the editorials, AMG editorials I have already given to you. In case you are interested, there are some more editorials that you can read. AMR, Academy of Management Review, second issue in 2011, 2012, JMS, and so they all talk about how people should write manuscripts. Okay, so yeah, so the first thing that I want to just talk about, so can we take a quick 15-minute break and we can